In the quiet town of Asheville, North Carolina, lived a hard-working father named Michael Carter and his 16-year-old son, Ethan. They did not own a large house or expensive cars. Instead, they lived in a small wooden home surrounded by tall pine trees and a little vegetable garden that Michael cared for every evening after work. Michael worked as a construction laborer. Every morning, before sunrise, he left home carrying an old lunchbox and a worn-out pair of work gloves. His hands were rough, his boots were dusty, and his back often ached from lifting heavy materials all day. Yet, every evening, he returned home with a warm smile for his son. Ethan often wondered how his father could smile after such exhausting days. One cold winter evening, Ethan asked, "Dad, don't you ever get tired of working so hard?" Michael smiled and placed his hand on Ethan's shoulder. "I get tired every day, son. But I never get tired of fighting for your future." Those words stayed in Ethan's heart. Money was always short. Sometimes they had to choose between repairing the leaking roof or buying new clothes. Michael always chose whatever would protect Ethan first. One Saturday afternoon, Ethan found his father quietly counting a few dollar bills at the kitchen table. "Is everything okay?" Ethan asked. Michael looked up with a gentle smile. "We're going to be fine. We always are." But Ethan noticed the unpaid bills hidden beneath the newspaper. That night, while Michael slept, Ethan made a promise to himself. "One day, I'll make Dad proud. One day, he'll never have to worry about money again." From that day forward, Ethan changed. Instead of wasting time playing video games after school, he studied harder than ever before. He spent hours in the public library reading books about business, technology, and successful entrepreneurs. His classmates laughed. "You study too much. Come hang out. You'll never become rich reading books." But Ethan remembered his father's tired hands. That was enough motivation. Every morning before school, Ethan helped his father in the garden. Every evening, he completed his homework before reading another chapter from a business book. Michael watched quietly. One evening he asked, "Why are you pushing yourself so hard?" Ethan smiled. "Because someone taught me that hard work changes lives." Michael knew exactly who Ethan meant. Years passed. Ethan graduated from high school as one of the top students in the state. His teachers encouraged him to apply to some of the best universities in America. When the acceptance letter arrived from a prestigious university, Ethan couldn't believe his eyes. He ran home. Dad. I got in." Michael hugged his son tightly. Tears rolled down his face. "I always knew you could do it." But that happiness lasted only a few minutes. Then reality returned. The tuition was far beyond what they could afford. That night neither of them spoke during dinner. After washing the dishes, Michael quietly walked outside. Ethan followed him. Michael stared into the dark sky. "I'm sorry, son." "For what?" "I worked my whole life, but I still can't pay for your education." Ethan looked at his father. For the first time, he saw guilt in the strongest man he had ever known. He immediately shook his head. "No, Dad. You gave me something far more valuable." Michael looked confused. "You taught me discipline. You taught me honesty. You taught me that quitting is never an option. Those lessons are worth more than any university." Michael's eyes filled with tears. The next morning, without telling Ethan, Michael accepted a second job working night shifts at a warehouse. He worked nearly 18 hours every day. Weeks turned into months. His body became weaker. But he never complained. One rainy evening, Ethan stopped by the warehouse after school to surprise his father. Instead, he found Michael sitting alone against a stack of boxes, breathing heavily with exhaustion. His hands were trembling. His clothes were soaked with sweat. At that moment, Ethan realized the price his father was paying for his dream. He quietly walked over. "Dad." Michael looked up and smiled despite his exhaustion. "What are you doing here, champ?" Ethan sat beside him. "I'm going to help you." Michael shook his head. "No. Your job is to study. My job is to make sure you never have to work like this. Ethan held his father's rough hand. No, Dad. We're a team. And from that moment, both father and son began working toward the same dream, not just to escape poverty, but to prove that love, sacrifice, and determination could change an entire family's future. The next morning, Ethan woke up before sunrise. As he watched his father quietly prepare for another long day, he noticed something he had never seen before. Michael's hair had become grayer, and the lines on his face had deepened from years of sacrifice. That image stayed with Ethan throughout the day. Instead of feeling discouraged, he became even more determined. He began searching for scholarships, entering essay competitions, and applying for every financial aid program he could find. Every rejection letter hurt, but each one pushed him to work even harder. One evening, while studying in the public library, Ethan saw a flyer for a nationwide business innovation competition. The winning team would receive a full college scholarship and a cash prize to start a business. "This is it," Ethan whispered. For the next 3 months, he spent every free moment developing an idea. He designed an affordable mobile app that helped local construction workers track tools, manage schedules, and improve job safety. The inspiration came from watching his father struggle every day on construction sites. Michael often found Ethan awake late at night. "You should get some sleep," he would say. Ethan smiled. "I'll sleep after I finish my dream." The day of the competition finally arrived in New York City. Hundreds of brilliant students from across the United States presented their ideas before a panel of successful entrepreneurs and investors. When Ethan's name was called, his hands trembled. He looked into the audience and saw Michael sitting in the last row, wearing his only suit, a suit that was over 15 years old. Their eyes met. Michael simply nodded. That silent encouragement gave Ethan confidence. He walked onto the stage and spoke from his heart. "This app isn't just about technology," Ethan began. "It's about the hard-working fathers who leave home before sunrise and return after sunset with tired hands. It's about giving workers safer jobs and more time with their families." The room became completely silent. When he finished, the audience stood and applauded. Hours later, the judges returned to announce the winner. In first place, Ethan held his breath. Ethan Carter. For a moment, everything around him seemed to stop. Then the crowd erupted in cheers. Michael covered his face with his hands as tears streamed down his cheeks. Father and son embraced tightly on the stage. "You did it, son," Michael whispered. "No, Dad," Ethan replied. "We did it." The scholarship covered Ethan's entire university education, and the cash prize allowed him to continue developing his app. During college, he worked tirelessly to improve the software, listening to workers, contractors, and business owners across the country. After graduation, Ethan launched his company. At first, only a few construction firms used the app. Then dozens. Then hundreds. Within 5 years, his company became one of the fastest-growing construction technology businesses in the United States. Major investors offered millions of dollars, but Ethan never forgot why he started. The very first thing he did after his company became successful was drive his father back to the old construction site where Michael had spent most of his life. The workers greeted Michael with smiles and applause. Ethan handed his father a small envelope. "What is this?" Michael asked. "Open it." Inside was a letter. It read, "Retirement approved." Along with the letter were the keys to a beautiful new home surrounded by green fields, just like the one Michael had always dreamed of owning. Michael looked at his son in disbelief. "You bought this for me?" Ethan smiled through tears. "You spent your whole life building homes for other families. Now it's time to enjoy one that's truly yours." Michael hugged his son tighter than ever before. "I never wanted riches," Michael said softly. "I only wanted you to have a better life." "You gave me more than that," Ethan replied. "You gave me character, courage, and the strength to never give up." Years later, Ethan established the Michael Carter Foundation, providing scholarships to children from hard-working families who couldn't afford college. Every year, hundreds of students achieved their dreams because one father had refused to quit. During the foundation's opening ceremony, Ethan stood before thousands of people and shared the lesson that had changed his life. My father wasn't rich. He didn't own a big business. He wasn't famous. But he taught me the greatest secret of success: hard work, honesty, and love are the strongest investments anyone can make. Money can disappear, but character lasts forever. The audience rose to their feet in applause. Michael, now retired, sat quietly in the front row with tears of pride in his eyes. He realized that all the years of sacrifice, every blister, every sleepless night, and every difficult day had been worth it. Because true success isn't measured by how much money you earn. It is measured by the lives you inspire. The end.